Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. Algeria shines with its products in Germany at the European Fair of Industrial Oil and Alternative Energy, and in Moscow at the International Fair of Food and Beverage Industry. The sugar export, one of the partnership agreements signed during the IATF that reflects the government's efforts. With the 50th anniversary of the colonization of Western Sahara, international organizations demand immediate actions to put an end to the occupation and the plundering of the Sahrawi resources. In France, the economic and social crisis keeps worsening as calls for strikes are increasing. Welcome back. Algeria marked a breakthrough at the European Fair of Industrial Oil and Alternative Energy, securing international recognition and strategic deals that position the country as a rising force in the sector. Najah Tayyar with the details.
At the European Exhibition for Industrial Oils and Alternative Energy, the Algerian production in the field of car oils received high praise from visitors and international experts, who emphasized that Algeria has now become a strong competitor to the world's leading companies in this sector. These are products based on synthetic oils. They are, of course, available in Europe, but for the first time, I have found them manufactured in Algeria.
So Algeria, indeed, is for us a really important market. It's a big market where we see a lot of export from lube oil. Especially in our case, one of our key accounts in Algeria is Sonatrach, customer where we delivered now several machines, including complete filling lines.
We can see from year on year we expand, we grow, and we get companies and organizations from many different countries around the world. We are an international exhibition and trade show focusing on the hot topics and future trends, and it's just a testament to the industry and the growth and the confidence that an Algerian company like Petro Baraka will come here and exhibit at our shows. So, as I say, we're delighted and honored to have them with us.
At this international energy event, the company Petro Baraka showcased new high-quality products, and this achievement was crowned by the signing of several important contracts with export-oriented companies, as well as with leading firms in aircraft and marine lubricants technology, opening broad prospects for Algeria to strengthen its presence in the European and international markets. Today we are here in Germany at one of the world's largest exhibitions specializing in industrial oils and alternative energy. We are participating thanks to the national policy that supported domestic production, which now competes with global companies. Not long ago we were an important country, but thanks to the facilities and projects launched in 2026, we will begin exporting. Today the Algerian oils have a recognized place in the international market, trusted by major manufacturers of cars and trucks worldwide. At this European exhibition taking place in Germany, Algeria's presence made a powerful impact. What started as an initiative to promote the country's image in the energy oils industry quickly turned into a concrete success. The international partners showed strong interest, culminating in the signing of strategic contracts, clear evidence that Algeria is no longer a mere participant, but a global competitor with the capacity to stand alongside the world's leading players.
Algeria is also participating in the 2025 World Food Moscow, a food and beverage fair until the 19th of September with 15 companies. Visitors and economic partners will present at the Algerian pavilion to discover the Algerian products, their quality and diversity. By participating in this event, Algeria aims to promote its capacities in the food industry sector in order to create more export opportunities to Russia and Eastern Europe. The last intra-African trade fair was an opportunity for many Algerian companies to seed strategic partnerships with companies from African countries. The Tafadis refinery, a subsidiary of Madar, signed several contracts with African partners. It plans to produce 100% of Algerian sugar by 2029. Report by Naim Al-Walish, commentary by Rania Al-Bahri.
Barely commissioned, the Tafadis sugar refinery, which is part of the Madar holding company, made a notable appearance at the last intra-African event by signing various contracts with certain African partners aimed at strengthening the sector on the continent.
Tafadis a participé récemment.
Tafadis recently took part in the intra-African exhibition held from September 4th to 10th at the SAFEX. Our goal was to introduce ourselves to the Algerian market as well as to our African partners. This participation allowed us to sign several memorandums of understanding, which are currently in progress, along with 2 official agreements, one with Libya valued at $180 million, under which we will export 360,000 tons of sugar, and another one with Egypt. We also signed with Sweden Electric for a major project focused on 100% Algerian production. Equipped with ultra-modern equipment, Tafadis controls its product itself within the company. The laboratory's role is to control and guarantee product quality. We conduct a series of rigorous analysis and tests throughout all stages of sugar refining. This allows us to ensure that the product complies with quality and food safety standards.
Ici, on est dans la salle de contrôle de la chaudière.
Here we are in the boiler control room. Well, the boiler is used to produce steam. We send it directly to the turbine to guarantee electricity to power all the plant's equipment. We collect the steam and send it to the refinery for the necessary transformations to produce sugar. With a production capacity of 2,000 tons of sugar per day, 1,350 tons of white sugar, 200 tons of brown sugar, and 450 tons of liquid sugar, the company plans to expand further by producing its own sugar from beets in the grand south of Algeria.
Projet énorme.
We have a huge project south of Wirgla, Tamnrast and Ilizi, which will involve the production of 100% Algerian sugar from sugar beets. We will cultivate sugar beets and produce 100% Algerian sugar, including wheat, corn and sunflower. It covers 200,000 hectares, so it's a huge project. In addition to the large bags intended for industrial customers, Tafadis will commission a new 1 kilogram production line by the end of September, allowing for wider distribution for the benefit of the public.
The State Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, received on Tuesday the Special Envoy of the United Nations, General Secretary to Western Sahara, Staffan de Mistura, who is on an official visit to Algeria. This visit is part of the preparations of the Security Council meeting on the Sahrawi cause in October. The Special Envoy is expected to submit a report on his intentions to fulfill his task. The State Minister reiterated Algeria's support to the effort of the General Secretary Antonio Guterres and his Special Envoy to find a fair and sustainable solution to the Sahrawi cause, including the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination according to the decisions of the United Nations. Ahmed Attaf highlighted the actual and vital role of the United Nations and insisted on the necessity of organizing direct negotiations with no conditions between the two parties of the conflict, Morocco and the Polisario Front. Inside the Human Rights Council and coinciding with the 50th anniversary of the occupation of Western Sahara, South Africa expresses its support to the Sahrawi cause and urges the European Union and its member countries, as well as the United Nations, to implement the international law and respect the decisions of the European Union Court of Justice.
As a representative of the Frente Polisario, which is the legitimate representative of the people entitled to the rights of self-determination, I would like to shed some lights on the cost. I would retain the expression of Manuel of delaying the application of the international law in Western Sahara. But from another perspective, that of an insider, which would go from the national level, at the Sahrawi level, until the international level, especially to the level of the UN. Still, we are having many political prisoners in the prisons of Morocco.
In Morocco, social discontent continues to grow, with the population denouncing the difficulty of accessing even the most basic needs, particularly in a health system in crisis. Moroccans have taken to the streets in several regions of the country to voice their frustration at the contempt of the Makhzen that continues to ignore their demands. Details with Daniel Bahri.
The hospital of death. That is how protesters describe the facility as they denounce the deplorable conditions faced by patients at every level, along with the slow handling of emergency cases, which they consider a direct cause of preventable deaths. The residents of Agadir are afraid to come to this hospital, the hospital of death. It's a veritable cemetery. We can no longer call it hospital. Everything is new, but they always neglect us. Why it's always the people who suffer, whether we die or not, it doesn't matter to them. On the other hand, the residents of Azilal have been living in difficult socio-economic conditions for years. A disastrous situation marked by a total marginalization of this region and the lack of concrete response to their demands. Citizens affirm that their suffering cannot tolerate further indifference. They will pay for every tear shed by a marginalized citizen. My 73-year-old mother slept outside in the train. It's truly shameful.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله هادشي كيألم بزاف هادشي كيألم وكيقطع القلب صراحة.
Amid these deplorable conditions, Moroccan citizens find themselves faced with a fragile healthcare system incapable of meeting their needs or preserving their dignity, a situation that has accentuated the loss of trust between citizens and their leaders.
A new survey exposes how Islamophobia has become the sharpest fault line in France, turning equality into exclusion and leaving Muslims as the Republic's most targeted community. Details with Najah Dayar.
In France, Islamophobia is not a matter of opinion, but a brutal statistical reality. According to a French Institute of Public Opinion survey, 1 in 3 French citizens of Muslim faith has experienced racism in the past 5 years, and half of them clearly identify religion as the reason. What is striking and what this survey highlights is that discrimination is found precisely where Republican equality should prevail, in schools, in hospitals, in all public services, and yet Muslims face discrimination there. It is both shocking and revealing, because Islamophobia today is a very real monster, showing its face and proving that Muslims are the most discriminated community in France. A harsh reality that seeps into institutions meant to safeguard and educate, revealing a republic that fails to honor its own promises. For me, a citizen is a citizen. If we can no longer uphold the values of the republic, then there is a deep problem, and the survey points directly to that problem. There is also much to be done when it comes to respecting and protecting individual rights, particularly the freedom of religion, and, in this case, freedom of belief, especially concerning Islam. A deep issue that for many lands like shock, and these racist remarks also surface openly in the French media. It's a shock because it puts numbers on what was previously just a guess. As a great philosopher once said, we must always say what we want, but it's even harder to face what we see. Every Muslim or even every Arab in France may have felt racism or discrimination at some point. I was stunned by the depth of this sentiment revealed in the survey. Meanwhile, words won't as much as actions, and the media climate only makes things worse. I once visited the Renault factory at Ile-Séguin back when staff management was conducted in 3 languages, French, CGT and Islamist. There are communications that are simply unjust and that fuel hateful rhetoric. Dangerous shortcuts are being made. This French Institute of Public Opinion survey confirms it. Islamophobia is today the most powerful engine of Republican inequality in France. And faced with this reality, 81% of them say they trust the Grand Mosque of Paris to defend them and carry their voice.
In a report published on Tuesday, an investigation commission of the United Nations Human Rights Council stated that the Zionist entity is perpetrating a genocide against the Palestinian people by committing 4 of the 5 category facts that define a genocidal crime: killing members of the group, causing them serious bodily or mental harm, deliberately inflicting on the group life conditions that cause its physical destruction, and imposing measures to prevent births. The situation is still chaotic in Gaza. In addition to the aerial attacks, the Zionist entity launched a ground operation aiming to definitively control the enclave. The citizens spent a terrible night full of bombardments with an unprecedented intensity. 106 Palestinians have been murdered and tens of others have been injured. The Palestinians have no other choice than death or displacement. And with this we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Have a good night.